Hi, so my name is Obi Pascal, your full stack software developer. So in this video, I just want to show you why you should start considering Docker containers over the traditional deployment of your microservices applications. So I'm going to give you my reason and give you a project scenario I have worked on, which is actually live, and how I feel the Docker container solved the problem I encountered while building that product, working on that project. So on my right hand side, I'm on Figma Jam. On my right hand side is the Docker container, the same structure, but demonstrating how Docker container decoupled all the microservices into one container and made it very easy for us to deploy. And here on my left hand side is the same application, but in this case each microservice was actually deployed separately on an ASW instance, EC2 instance separately. So each of the microservices had to communicate with each other using some kind of API endpoints and API calls. So now this architecture, by the way, is it's actually used on a project called BillMaPay. So BillMaPay is a bill and marketplace payment app that helps you shield your finances, and then use it as an interfacing application to interact with e-commerce vendors paying for any kind of services and product or data product out there. So I was actually charged with this product. I'm actually a part of the team for this product as a co-founder. So what we did, architecture, this is how our architecture looked like. We have a Node.js application that runs a WebSocket server. We have a Redis server, which is a kind of a persistent server. Database, a persistent storage, and we have a Laravel backend, API. Then we have a React Native app that we designed. So what happens here is that whenever a user triggers an action calling an API with the Laravel backend, we send a notification. We created a pop-sock mechanism between the Node.js WebSocket server and the Laravel backend API using Redis server. So Redis made it very possible for us to be able to persist data across these two server instances using a pop-sock mechanism. So Laravel here is the publisher, and Node.js here is how would I say? Laravel here is like the publisher, and Node.js here is like the broker server that publishes the notification to the client, here being the mobile app. And whenever the event triggered by the user gets to the backend, for example, the user made a transaction and we receive a webhook notification from our third-party APIs, we now push a notification to the Node.js WebSocket server using the user ID as the channel, which the user must have subscribed using the WebSocket connection and register itself to a kind of a namespace or a room to receive notification from the backend here. So we send that payload to the Node.js server. So the Node.js server now look through the WebSocket map or set of users that are connected to that particular room using the user ID as the room ID, and that is published to the user. So the user received the notification. Now the challenge we faced in this project was quite specific. Now each of these instances, for example, the Node.js server was deployed separately on a different environment. The Redis server, due to capacity, we have to separate it from the instance that runs all of them. So we had to put it on a separate cluster such that it can be connected publicly using an IP and a password. And then the Laravel backend also runs. It's actually bootstrapped by Laravel Vapor using ASW Lambda function. Yeah. So the mobile app, it's a React Native app. So now the challenge here is that each of these services, each of these instances you're seeing here are actually resident on their own server. So which means if we want to make changes, we have to, individually try to make changes on this. And sometimes one of the challenges I face personally is that when something break or something, we have a bug to fix, I have to like keep switching between servers using SSH key and using SSH access to switch between these servers to try to fix those issues and try to correct. It was really tedious and it was really stressful for me. So I was thinking of a way, how can I just have this thing all together in like one box so that I could make those changes and deploy them just once, and it doesn't really have to give me so much, connecting this one, coming out of this one, connecting the other one, switching between servers like that. And the worst part is that when I finish all this project, I have to go and start setting up the servers, enabling some extensions that are locally enabled, but they are not enabled on the production environment. And I have to go and there are so many specifications I have to enable so that they would work. And I now discover, back then I really don't use Docker. I now discover that there's something called Docker, and which is why I'm recommending in this video that Docker is the way for 2024 right now, using your microservice. Do you actually know that with Docker, what we did was that we had all these listed on a Docker Compose file as services, such that these services are isolated from each other but can interact with each other using their services name, if you want, based on your security and settings. It made it so easy such that we have to even provision everything we needed was just pre-configured. So anything I want to change, I just change it down there. It doesn't affect the other one, and I just make a build of the Docker container, and I send only one file, just one file. The Docker container build gives you one zip file where you can upload to the server, and the server will read from that file and do all. So you don't have to do any extension enabling everything is bootstrapped. It's contained in that container. Whatever needs to run, whatever makes the app runs locally is what would make the app run in production without any tweaks or changes. So it made it so easy for me. It made my deployment so easy. It made my deployment so flexible. I mean, like, it was a game changer for me. I could list my Node.js service, my Node.js WebSocket service. I had my Redis provisioned in the Docker Compose. I had my database provision. I had my Laravel provision as well. And my mobile app could connect seamlessly to my WebSocket server, and my Laravel application could publish to it. And whenever I need to make any changes, I just make that changes and make a build, and that build only affects only the microservice which I made changes to. So to me, I think to build your project very fast and relieve yourself from the hustle of how would I say, should I use the word micromanaging every of your microservices out there, is Docker. Start using Docker today, and I think I'm actually recommending this for those of you who are developers, because I think that's the way. And if you're a business person, I think you would help your development team to do a great job by using containerized applications instead of monolithic applications, applications that give your team so much headaches in doing deployment. So that's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you want more video, please leave a comment below. And if you want more video requests, you can as well make a request at the comment section for the video you want me to do for you. Thank you very much. Nice to have you on my YouTube channel again. Bye bye.